up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. My name is Angel Lorenzana, and Rafa's not here today, so it's just going to be me and the guest. And today, our guest is a brewmaster from Mano Negra Brewing Company, and his name is Daniel Badillo.
How you guys doing?
How you doing, man? How you feeling today?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing good? Okay, cool. So, tell us about what you do.
So, I own the first Latino-owned nano brewery, which people say micro, but it's nano.
Nano, okay.
And it's nano because of the amount of beer that we make. So we brew our own beer, we make our own sangria, and then we try to have a venue that appeals not only to the Latino community, but it's oriented to them. It's like, it appeals for everybody, but also we try to have people from other countries to come in and taste our beers and sangrias. Yeah, man. People eat that all up. I was gonna say white people eat that shit up, man, but I don't know what your audience is gonna think about that. But Cinco de Mayo just passed, and I'm from California, and I was talking to my friend Morgan. I was like, man, y'all go all out for Cinco de Mayo here. I was like, to us it's just another day, but I was like, that's cool, man. Yeah, cool. Cinco de Mayo. I don't know, like I try to, whenever we're making beer over there, we try to put a little bit of history behind what we're making. So we do have a beer that is made out of jalapenos.
Oh, okay, nice.
So the beer that has the jalapenos, it's a beer that we name Zaragoza. Because that was the general that fought against the French in the Battle of Puebla.
Okay.
And that's the original story, the real story behind Cinco de Mayo.
Oh,
so everybody thinks like Cinco de Mayo, we're celebrating the independence of Mexico. And in Mexicans' independence in the 16th. Then the Battle of Puebla, it's on the 5th of May. And the Mexican kick ass. The ass of the French on that battle. So Mexican won.
Nice.
So that's what we're celebrating.
Okay.
So what I try to do with the beer is try to have a beer made out of jalapeno and then name it after a general that fought on that. And then when people ask, then you tell them the story.
Yeah.
And people learn that, that's why it's Cinco de Mayo. Man. So lately, Cinco de Mayo, we do that beer, and then we wanted to make the actual battle with beer. So we want to make a French beer, and then we want to make the jalapeno beer. So that way, see who the public
put them up against each other.
Yeah, put it up against each other and see who wins.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
man. And I really like when artists kind of get into their work and make sure that everything kind of makes sense, or there's like there's a message behind it. Instead of just naming it like anything, kind of like we did our podcast.
Yeah. Well, I try all the time to name things after something. For example, we have a beer that it's called Moss. And it's Moss Cream Ale. It's a blonde beer. And that beer, whenever we make it, we name it Moss because the history is that that was the nickname of the first female governor of Texas.
Okay,
so,
nice.
So when people ask about, but why the name, it's like, then we give them a little bit of story behind it.
Yeah.
And tell them the reason, and people get to learn a little bit, a little bit of culture there.
Yeah. And you said it's called Moss, and what was the kind of flavor of it, you said?
Oh, it's a blonde beer. Blonde ale. Yeah, but it's Moss Cream Ale. Cream Ale, and cream ale is just basically a style beer. But it doesn't have any cream, lactose, or anything like that. It's just people think like it does have that kind of ingredient, but it doesn't. It's just a name.
So I tried this beer one time, and the brewery is called Bottle Logic in California, Southern California, in Anaheim. And I tried this beer, and it was so good. Like, how when you're a kid and you see like people drinking beer like in the cartoons or the movies, and it looks so good, but when you try it, you're like, oh, what is this? Well, this beer that I drank, it tasted like exactly how like you wanted it to taste when you're like when you're watching like a cartoon or something. So I believe it was a golden stout, meaning it was a stout, but it wasn't
dark.
It wasn't dark. Yeah, it was still a little bit. It was still transparent.
Yeah.
But it was almond joy themed, or like almond joy flavored, and you taste the coconut and taste like that chocolate, the chocolates. So that's probably one of the best beers I've ever tried too. Yeah.
So we do something similar with with the cream ale.
The cream ale? Okay.
The cream ale, it's basically, like I say, a blonde beer. It's going to be a light body beer. But that one, we infuse it with coffee beans.
Okay, I've tried a lot of coffee beers.
And then we call it the Jagrumo coffee ale. The name comes from a tree that grows in Puerto Rico. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And then that tree that normally grows around coffee fields. It grows around the island, but you can see it like near the coffee fields. And then when you look at the leaf, on one side is brown, like roasted, and then on the other side is white, silver white.
Okay.
So we use that for the name of the beer because it contrasts with the style.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a light beer, but when you taste it, it tastes like dark coffee.
Oh man, crazy. That's cool. So
and one of the things that happens is that when people drink that, they go like, "What's happening here?" And that's the other thing that I like to do with my products, my beers, and our sangrias is like play with the mind of the people. It's like you're expecting one thing, but you get another.
Yeah.
So with that beer, you're expecting to be a dark beer, and all of a sudden it's like you look at it, it's light, but it tastes like coffee.
Man, so you're a true artist. You really get into the name of it and then the flavor profile and everything.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. Tell me about the history about the Mano Negra.
So I'm from Puerto Rico, born and raised over there.
What city or what pueblo?
Pueblo is gonna be Bayamon.
Okay. So, what is it called?
Bayamon.
Bayamon.
Bayamon. Okay. So that's very close to San Juan, very close to the capital. So probably like 10, 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's if there is no rush traffic or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if not, it's an hour.
All right.
An hour away from the capital. But I was making beer over there probably since 2013.
Okay.
And everything started with a little keg of Heineken that my wife gave me as a present. Uh-huh. I got that thing and I was drinking it, of course, but then I was trying to refill it. Uh-huh. I don't like, well, I just buy another one, but at the same time, but the other one, I go like back again to it, like, I want to refill this thing because it's like, what's the purpose of having the little keg?
So yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. Those Heinekens, and they have like the little mini keg, and it has a little spout on it and stuff.
Spout, and you can just pour your beer from there. Yeah. So I was like, this is cool, Mm-hmm. But then after a while, I just got to the point like, okay, so I cannot refill that thing. Can I make my own beer and put it in a keg? Mm-hmm. And that took me to the next level. So got the first homebrew kit, did it in my kitchen. One thing took me to another, then bought more equipment, bought more gadgets, and make more batches, invite people over. People were drinking beer, mm-hmm. So it blasted off, and got to the point of me making batches, 5 gallon, 10 gallons batches in my garage.
And this is in Puerto Rico?
This is in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And then there were people, all the neighbors coming in. Oh, that's the house. That's the guy who makes the beer, his own beers. Everybody's coming in. So like, it was a lot of beer for one person to drink. So, but if you have like 5 or 6 friends, 5 gallons, 10 gallons of beer is, it goes pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, situation in the island, it wasn't that good because the economy of the island was like bad. My wife and myself, like she was trying to find a job and she couldn't. She has like a master's, mm-hmm. and she couldn't find a job over there. So eventually, we just decided to move. In 2014. 2014, we moved to here to Texas, to Lubbock, and I just stopped making beer, I just got a job, start to work.
Okay.
Straight working every day.
And what was your impression of Lubbock when you first moved here?
Oh man, the first thing that I'm gonna say is like, don't look it up in Google.
I know. I agree with you.
It's bad whenever you see it.
I did look it up on Google, and there was like a statistic saying that in 2010 or something, it was like the most boring city in America.
It's boring. It's boring. It's yellow. It's dry, and I was going like, what did I get into?
Yeah. And I'm finding the complete opposite, honestly, because I come from, in Southern California where there's a lot of people, a lot of entertainment and arts going on. You know what I mean? Like I could go to a concert every weekend if I wanted to, or go to a comedy show, and all that stuff. But here, actually, I'm making a lot more friends here because I grew up there, and I only hang out with like one friend from high school. But here, like, I'm meeting comedians and artists and musicians, and then we started this podcast, and now I'm really getting to meet like all these artists.
For me, it was a cultural shock.
Cultural shock. Me too. Yeah, I agree.
Because Puerto Rico is very rich in culture.
Okay.
And when I say in culture, you have a lot of music, a lot of flavor in the food, a lot of arts, architectural. You have concerts here and there. You have how do you call this? Art expo. How do you call them? Like the art trail.
Yeah, like art, like showcases and.
It showcases and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you come here, and then there's none of that.
Unless you look for it, unless
you look for it, but that's the first impression is like, okay, what do you do? So whenever I move here, it's like, okay, so I didn't know where to go, what to do, but I'm kind of curious about things. So it's like you've mentioned before, it's like, unless you look for it, you're not gonna know that it's happening. And Lubbock is like that. If you don't look, you won't find it.
No.
So, but it's, for me, it was a cultural shock because all the richness in the arts that Puerto Rico has right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, Lubbock, but don't Google it because you're gonna go crazy with that, man. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
But so I moved here in 2014, and from there I keep working until one day a friend of mine told me, like, hey, you know what, they're going to do this gathering in the building where we live, and to meet the neighbors and all that stuff. So eventually he said, hey, we should do a sangria challenge. And whenever we did that, I told him, like, you know what, we shouldn't do that. Like, I haven't been doing that for a very long time. And then all of a sudden he tells me, like, I don't care. I'm going to tell that we're going to do it, and you're going to make one.
Okay.
So it was
good on him.
Yeah, good on him. It was like this lady with her sangria and me with my sangria recipe from Puerto Rico. And then we start the event, and all of a sudden my sangria starts to go down very quick, and the sangria from the other lady, it was just stuck right there. So my sangria went totally out, and I won.
Nice.
So after that, it was like, you know what, maybe there is a market here for what I do here, because sangria in Puerto Rico is something that is very common. You find that in every corner somebody's making one, and they're making a very good one.
Yeah.
So I go like, I'm not going to try to do anything here with that. But eventually, what happened was that I realized on that day that there is a market, and I just went for it. Try to get into the beer making, sangria making industry. But what I encountered is that I didn't have the capital, I didn't have the money, and I didn't have any anybody that wanted to jump in and help out. Investors, nobody. So it was me, myself, and my idea. And then what I started doing was
is that when the craft sodas came into play?
Yep.
Okay.
That's when the craft soda came into place.
Okay.
So I went ahead and tried to find a way to generate some income besides my daily job, and I just went ahead and grabbed root beer extracts, a little bit of water, sugars, and started playing with flavor profiles and all that stuff. And then one day I was visiting the downtown farmers market. And visiting the downtown farmers market, I just realized, like, everybody here is selling something in a can.
Okay. Yeah.
Why no one is doing like something crafty that you can offer and people can drink?
Yeah.
And that's where the idea came from. Like, I name it Hub City Craft Sodas.
Which is a cool name. I like that. That's cool.
The Hub City Craft Sodas. And then I just built a table with pallets, put some beer taps, and hook it up. Talked to the city, gave me the permit, and off we went. And on my first day over there, I made a lot of money, like actually selling sodas.
Okay. And what year was this again?
This was in 2017.
2017?
2017.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, it was, I think it was May 2017 is when I started. So yeah,
nice.
Crazy, but we did it. It's like, that's how everything started. So I started doing the sodas at the farmers market every Saturday. And then all the money that I made out of those, I just put it in the bank.
Okay.
Save it until a year later. 1 year later, I had enough money to buy the first piece of equipment for the brewery.
Okay. And what was that?
It was the actual brew house.
The brew house? Okay.
The brew house. So I bought a 1-barrel brew house, which is 32 gallons of beer. And that's how I started. I did the research. After looking few brands, I decided to go with the Spike Brewing, which it was very good at the moment. And eventually what I did was like bought it, put it in my garage, and it was there for a very long time, because I thought that generating the money, you know, to open the business was going to be the hard part. And actually, it was actually looking for a venue.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was going like, okay, so I have the money to start paying rent, but I don't have a place that I can put all of this. So in 2019, so it's when I finally found a spot to put the equipment and everything. At
Cactus Alley?
Cactus Alley Courtyard.
Okay.
So it was right there pre-pandemic. And then I was talking to the landlord, trying to get in there. They had a few people like in the on the pipeline trying to get in there too. But they called me back probably a week later. And I explained to them that I want to open a very small brewery in there, and they go like, they put that face like, a brewery in here? It's like, yes, I can do it. Yeah. If you believe in me, I can do it. Yep. And then eventually what happened was that they went for it. They believe in me and in the idea, and they let me put my little brewery in there. So we opened the brewery in 2021.
2021. Okay.
Because from 2019 to 20, we were in the middle of the pandemic and everything was shut down. So I was still selling craft sodas at the farmers market.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
So I was able to generate some income out of the sodas, and I was just paying the rent and building. So I built the place from 19 to 20, and then by...
So you utilized that time to make it what it was going to be.
It was crazy. It was crazy because it's like, I still have my day job. So I was working my day job, and then on Saturdays did the farmers market, and in the meantime, like in between, I just went over there and got all my permits, got all the bar set up, the brewery set up, the test batches, and after a while it was more of a, hey guys, I'm giving free beer, anybody wants to try it, since I was not able to open and operate. So everybody that passed by the door, it's like, do you want to try some beer? And you know, and that way the word started spreading out that a brewery was going to open over there.
Oh man, that's cool. All right, so I guess we're going down the timeline now too. So this is around 2000. What you just talked about right now.
2021 is when we opened. 2019, 2020 is when we were there just hanging out, making beer and giving beer away.
Man, even that itself must have been fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It's hard because you can test your equipment. You can test like, okay, this beer works out, this beer doesn't work out. And then you're giving it away, so like, who says no to free beer?
Right, exactly. And then you get feedback on it too.
Exactly. Yeah. So we got the feedback, and then like people came in, look at the spot, they really like it. They go like, oh my God, this is gonna be so cool whenever you open. So, but yeah.
Nice. All right. And then what about little bit after that.
So we opened in January 2021. We have like a drive-through window. So I was canning beer and pushing it out the window.
Nice. That is so cool. I like that, man.
Yeah. So they allow us to do that, but by February, March that same year, the governor said, like, you know what, open halfway. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's just do this halfway, but we're going to do it. Okay. So I put a little chain, so people don't get in. And then whenever we did that, it really took off, man. It's like every weekend more people were coming in, and the word was spreading that there was a little brewery in there. And then being Hispanic, it was another thing. Like normally the industry is dominated by the white folks and not Hispanics. Like if you go around, it's hard to find Latino breweries.
Yeah. And now that you say that too, what I'm thinking about when I lived in California, yeah, I think for the most part, it was white-owned breweries, which I didn't care because I loved all of it anyways. But for the fact that yours that does bring a lot of attraction to it, I could imagine. It brings
a lot of attraction, and it brings that touch of the cultural part
culture.
Of it.
And so people are like, okay, this is just it's a whole different culture that they're experiencing while they're there too.
So if you're not coming because of the beer, you're coming because you're curious about, okay, so what is he doing over there? So for us, it was like a hit because people were going like, oh man, like, well, it got to a point that before I opened and I got thoughts like about, man, I should change the name. I think Mano Negra is too Hispanic, too Latino, and maybe people are not going to come in because of the name. And then the name is Mano Negra, Black Hand. Then people are going to think like bad about it, But a friend of mine told me, don't change the name.
Don't change it.
Because Lubbock needs a place like this. And that was the key. Like when he told me Lubbock needs a place like this, it was like, okay, then you know what? I'm going to stick to the name.
Yeah. I'm glad you did too.
Let's do it. Forget about it, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, what was something else you were thinking of?
Crazy Llama.
Crazy Llama.
Yeah.
Oh man, so I'm glad you stick with it.
There was another Spanish name, el casi que no, which means the almost not. And then, I think it was those two that I thought about, but Crazy Llama was the one that I said, okay, it's in English and just.
Did you think about? Have you made a beer called Crazy Llama?
No.
Okay.
But you know what? We can work on that. Coming up. Crazy Llama.
That'd be cool.
On tab.
Nice, man. What style do you think that would be?
Oh, Crazy Llama. You know what? It sounds like an IPA.
It does. It's like one of the new like hazy IPAs
like
or something
hazy
like
IPA.
that.
Crazy Llama hazy IPA.
Bringing up IPAs, you know what I think is interesting about IPAs? Because when craft beer like started blowing up and I really got into it, well, my friend, he's the one that got me into it too. But I noticed that a lot of people who are IPA drinkers don't really know what a real IPA is, because IPAs, you're supposed to have them fresh. You know what I mean? Really fresh, or else after a month it starts changing, right?
Yeah.
The whole flavor profile. Yeah. So you have all these people who think they're IPA drinkers, but they're drinking all these beers off the shelf that have been sitting there for a long time. But I've tried really good West Coast IPAs from a brewery called Monkish Brewing in California. There's also Bottle Logic. Handful of other breweries that there's one called Highland Park Brewery. My favorite IPA that I've tried is from them, but it's like that West Coast style, and it's very transparent and crisp, and like that I don't know how to explain it, but like that fresh hoppiness taste is so different than going and picking up like a Lagunitas. It's oh my god, it's so good, and they call it dank, you know what I mean, like that because of the hops, I guess.
So my thing with IPAs is like, and yes, the fresher that you get an IPA, the better it's going to be. Because you're going to have all those hoppy notes, citrusy notes, floral notes, fresh. The more that it stays in a keg, the more that it stays in a can, it changes with time. It does. So and that's one of the things with IPAs. But my thing with craft beer drinkers is like, a lot of craft beer drinkers, what they drink is IPAs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, some people think
I drink craft beer. I drink an IPA.
Some people think that the whole genre of craft beer is IPAs. Yeah, but it's not, because you got the sours, you got the stouts, and the
you have golden
ales.
ales, you have brown ales, you have porters, you have stouts, you have so many styles out there.
Yeah.
That it doesn't have to be hoppy.
Yeah, and everybody just
goes for the hoppy beers.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
Yeah.
You can find very good hoppy beers, but like for me in our brewery, I try not to focus on hoppy beers. Why? Because you go around Lubbock and you can find hoppy beers everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to make beers that are. We do have probably like 2 or 3 beers are hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is just regular malty, if not roasted, chocolatey, or even crazy flavors like jalapenos. And we have one that it's orange, like dreamsicle.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one that it's like that.
Okay.
And people go crazy with that one. It's like whenever they go and they try that, they go like, "What happened here?" Remember at the beginning when I tell you I like to play with people's mind and flavors? It's like
catch them by surprise.
Yeah. And whenever they're trying that, and it's a light beer, but it tastes like orange cream.
Yeah. So they don't expect that, like those sweet notes inside of it.
They don't expect that, and it's a good seller.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was gonna that's gonna stay there and nobody's gonna but it sells. It sells. People ask for it.
Do you like making stouts?
I like making stouts. We from Puerto Rico. We do a tropical stout.
Tropical stout.
And that's a beer
So tell me
style.
about that. Okay.
So tropical stout is a beer that is going to be dark, like a stout, but normally stouts are meant to be drink in a cold weather.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that.
Because that's always like the Christmas time, whatever.
Yeah.
And I like to drink. Well, when I was drinking, I used to like stouts.
So people go like, "Oh, I'm going to drink a stout. It has to be in the cold weather."
Mm-hmm.
Tropical stout. The style comes from the islands, and the reason that it's called a tropical stout is because it's a stout beer that is meant to be drink at warmer temperatures.
Yeah, because once the beer starts reaching a little bit more room temperature, the flavor comes a lot more,
comes
right?
Out. Yeah, and that's also a misconception. Like you need to drink your beer very cold, super cold, like 32 degrees freezing. It's like
it masks the flavors.
Exactly. So I tell people whenever they come to the brew house, if you grab ice and you put it in your mouth, your tongue goes numb.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
so you're
that's
right.
what happens. It goes numb.
Yeah.
So what happens when your tongue goes numb? You don't taste anything.
Yeah.
So whenever you have a super cold beer, what happens? And it's a craft beer that you're supposed to taste flavors in there.
Yeah.
You don't taste anything.
Yep. Even for the IPAs too, because once IPAs start getting a little towards room temperature, it kind of is a little bit off-putting.
Yeah.
But once you're in that perfect zone, you can taste all those hops and everything.
You can taste all the profiles in there.
Yeah.
And I try to explain that to people. It's like, if you're drinking a craft beer, don't drink it at 32 degrees. Like, just wait a little bit, let it sit, and now taste it. So now you're going to taste all those flavors that you're going to have in there. So,
you were talking about the tropical stout?
So tropical stout, what happens there, it takes the flavors of tropical fruits, like mango, and it comes from
God, that sounds good.
Yeah, it comes from the yeast. So you ferment a lager yeast at a higher temperature, and the esters, the flavors that it brings to the beer are tropical fruit.
Okay.
So you stress that yeast out on a temperature that is not supposed to be, it goes that direction. And then the other thing is like it's not going to be super heavy on the malt profile, that you're able to actually drink it on a hot day.
Gotcha.
So and that's the trick with the tropical stout. So I go like, okay, so let me put this together. Being from a tropical island, why wouldn't be doing a tropical stout?
Right.
You see?
Yep.
So it goes together.
Yeah.
So other things that I've been trying to work on is to create, like you mentioned earlier, an IPA, and you mentioned the West Coast IPA, East Coast IPA. I'm going to bring this year what I call the Caribbean Coast IPA.
Caribbean Coast IPA. Okay.
And it's going to be a pineapple IPA.
Ooh, okay.
Okay,
nice.
so the profile is going to be pineapple. So we're working with some hops that gives you the pineapple flavor to it, and then make it an IPA.
Do you know what hop that is?
It's
Citra?
No, it's not Citra. It has a name. It's called Brew One.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those like experimental hops that they're making in the lab, and and then all of a sudden it brings you that profile.
I kind of know what you're talking about now because people they're experimenting with the hops and stuff, and they're calling them like weird names.
So the weird name for this hop, it's Brew One, and then the profile and the notes that you get is pineapple.
Okay.
So you can make an actual pineapple-less beer because you don't put any pineapples in it. It just the way you brew gives you the flavor of pineapples in there.
Yeah, I got it. That's pretty cool. How like sometimes you don't even have to add like the fruit or whatever to get that flavor. Yeah.
I love that. That's the magic of knowing your ingredients. If you know your ingredients, you can make anything happen. But with that one, I did make the beer in the past. People like it. The code name for it is going to be Brew One. But the actual, you're getting the exclusive. The actual name is going to be the Caribbean Coast IPA.
Nice. Okay.
Pineapple IPA.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. And I wanted to bring up this too, because on the other hand, when it comes to, because I've tried some stouts that are just crazy things that they did some crazy shit while they were making it, meaning like it was aged in bourbon barrels and they added like vanilla beans or like fruits or like raspberries, stuff like that. So I've tried some pretty crazy stouts, like maple. I've tried like a maple bacon syrup one or like that. But they're like very sweet too.
Yeah. So, there's this brewery in Amarillo, Pondiceta. They have a pecan porter.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And I think you can find it here.
Okay.
But man, like talking about crazy flavors and crazy mix, that porter is like so tasteful and I'm telling you, it's like you need to try it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they put the pecan flavors in there. I don't know if it's an extract. I don't know if they just grab the real thing and they roast it and then drop it in. I don't know how they do it, but it really tastes like pecans. Yeah. And it's very good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So have you ever done anything with like bourbon barrels or whiskey barrels or anything like that?
Well, I did grab a few barrels and I had the intention, but since our place was so little, so we were in 700 square feet. So that's small. So whenever we open, I try to diversify, do different things, but never got into the barrel thing.
Got you. So what's going on right now with the Mano Negra?
So Mano Negra was shut down on December 2024. And it was bought by Llano, the winery, and they want to open their own little tasting room over there. Okay. So they didn't renew our lease.
Do you think you inspired them to...
I hope so.
Yeah, right.
I hope so, because nobody thought about making anything in there like a bar or drinking wise. There's always been a restaurant there. There at one time there was a coffee shop, but I am the first one that actually puts like a little brewery bar setup in there and make it successful. Yeah. So hopefully they saw that and they decided, you know what, then we're taking over. Yeah. But our lease was not renewed and we just got to go.
Gotcha. So what's going on now?
So after, remember when I mentioned to you that the hardest part was to finding a venue? Again, same thing. Okay. So since I learned of the sale of the venue, I started looking for a place to set up. And it took me probably from October to January to actually find a spot that I liked.
Okay, because I follow you guys on social media, so I know you guys got something in the works right now.
We got something in the works. So nice. Mano Negra is not dead. Nope, not at all. Mano Negra is alive. And after like all of these ups and downs and not knowing what we were going to do, and we actually found a spot. Okay. So we're going to downtown. We're going downtown Broadway, and we're going to go to Broadway and Avenue F. So right now the building belongs to N2 Electric. They're an electrical contractor.
Okay.
And they have a spot in the back of the building, big enough for us to fit all our stuff in there.
Yeah.
And make
You're happy with it?
Oh, I'm super happy. It's beautiful.
Nice.
I'm telling you, it's a beautiful venue.
Nice.
Like for everybody that visited the previous one and they remember the small space, which I like that because it gets a little bit more intimate. But at the same time, it limited the amount of people that we could have in there. This one, we should have enough room for everybody.
Man, so your fans and your followers, they're gonna love it, man. They're gonna be like, we're able to come back and enjoy your sangrias and your beers, and just, more space. And are y'all gonna continue doing because I know you do the salsa.
We did salsa, we did art, we did comedy shows, we did salsa lessons, we did Latin nights, we did Puerto Rican Fest. We did a lot of things.
So let me tell you something that's pretty cool. Because I do not much anymore. I don't know if it's my thing still, but I was doing still kind of do open mic stand-up comedy. Okay. And when you do open mics, it is not a show. Meaning, because open mics, anybody could go and sign up. You get a crazy person, you get a weird person. Like anybody could go and sign up, and they don't promote it. They don't put nothing on. They'll promote it, but they don't put names on the list or anything. So that's open mics for comedians or open micers to go and practice, right? So I started in California and then I moved here, and I had never been put on a show at all. And Selena Martinez, you know how that is, right?
I know Selena.
So she put me on my first show, and that was at Mano Negra.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, man. So my very first comedy legit real show was at Mano Negra, and I actually did pretty good too. So I was happy with that. So and then
that's my girl right there, Selena. It's like I love her, and thanks to her for supporting us, and again, it's like I support her 100%.
Yeah.
Whenever we're shutting down, I was going like, man, the comedy show. What are we gonna do now? It's like, but I'd say like, you know what? I feel like the need to keep all of these events going.
Yes, sir.
And I am obligated to provide that. It's like that's how I feel. It's like it's something for me that it's important, and the people out there, they need these events.
Yeah, I
agree. So I need to keep going.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that I did, it was like, okay, so I need to make sure that the new spot has a big enough room to have more people for the comedy show.
Yeah.
Because Selena, whenever we were closing, she said well, you just call me back whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
And I told her don't worry, we're gonna be ready. We're gonna have a spot. But
and shout out to Selena. And I was actually gonna have her, because my co-host Rafa is sick. Yeah. And he told me he wasn't gonna be here, and I hit up Selena yesterday. I was like, I know you know the owner of Mano Negra. Like, do you want to help me? Do you want to be my co-host for the night? And she said yeah. But then she remembered that she actually was booked for another podcast to be on someone else's podcast. But I told her.
It would be fun to have her here.
I told her about it too. But maybe we could do something like a podcast or something, another thing you guys open up, dude.
Yeah, definitely we can do that. It's like just the heads up. We are doing all the construction is mostly done. So right now we pass all the air HVAC, which is air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and we're shooting for next week to do the final, so we can get our occupancy permit, and then we're gonna be calling environmental health, and after that, if we pass that, which I don't see why not, it's a brand new setup, so we should be ready to announce an opening day.
Pretty soon, or hopefully, okay. Yeah. It seems like everything's kind of lining up.
Everything is lining up, and then I just need to make sure that we have enough product for everybody to come in and enjoy it. So, so that's gonna be the next challenge there. So I make sure that we have enough beer and enough sangria, so that way when people come in, we don't run low on that.
Yeah, you're gonna do like a grand reopening.
We're gonna do soft opening, and then probably August. Do a grand opening.
Nice.
And I want to do it with live music, food trucks, vendors. Like we normally do our Puerto Rican Fest, because this year we're not going to be able to do it. We did it for the past 3 years, but
tell me about that. The Puerto Rican
Fest.
Fest.
Puerto Rican Fest comes up because of my friend Carlos, and he was running Carlitos Way food truck Puerto Rican cuisine, and he wanted to do something with the Puerto Rican parade in New York City.
Okay.
So there's a Puerto Rican parade, and that parade happens because of the flag. It's the day of the flag. They're celebrating the Puerto Rican flag.
Okay.
History goes that back in the days, I can't remember when, it was illegal to wave the Puerto Rican flag.
It was illegal?
Illegal.
Okay.
So if you had the Puerto Rican flag anywhere, you will go to jail.
Okay, man.
So eventually what happened was that, of course, they stopped that, and whenever they stopped that, Puerto Ricans came out with their flags, and they start waving the flag, showing the flag. That's why Puerto Ricans are so proud. Whenever you see a Puerto Rican, they have their flag somewhere. Yeah. That's the reason.
Nice. And you're rocking it right now, too.
Right there, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's how we do it. So we decided that we were going to start that celebration here in Lubbock.
Okay. I like that. That is awesome.
What we did, the first one, we did it in the parking lot of the Cactus Alley, but it wasn't a big event. It was just a few vendors, a few people, and then we just hang out, wave the flag for a little bit, drink a few beers, few sangrias, and then everybody went home. Mm-hmm. Next year, so that was, let me see, 22, 23. No, yeah, 22, we did that small one. Then 23, I told Carlos, we need to take this to the next level, dude. Mm-hmm. It's like, let me do some thinking here, and we're going to plan this thing a little bit better. So that way we get a lot of people to come in.
Yeah.
So what we did, we talked to all the vendors at the farmers market. He talked to all the food trucks that he knew. And then these guys came over. There's a Puerto Rican guy that does some lucha libre here in Lubbock. And I talked to them, and I say, you know what? I want you guys to be at the Puerto Rican Fest.
Nice.
So whenever we did that, it was an immediate hit.
Really? So nice. I could imagine. I could only imagine.
Oh, man. It was so many people coming in that I just couldn't, figure out how to, control it. It was so many people.
Yeah.
And the luchadores worked, super in our favor. So we did that. Bunch of vendors, bunch of food trucks, and it was a hit. So people were asking me, are you going to do it again? It's like, well, yes, we're going to do it again.
Hell
so
yeah.
we did it again in 2024, and again, a hit.
Okay.
So, but then we got hit with the news that we had to move from the Cactus Alley. So everybody was like, are you guys going to do it again in 2025? So that's when I go well, I don't know yet. But up to this point, it's it's going to be very short time frame between the date of the festival, because it's on the 11th, on the weekend of the 11th. So that's the day that we do it. And opening the brewery.
Okay.
So it's going to be hard to do those two things. And I don't even know if I'm going to be running the brewery in June. So for me, it was okay, so we can try to do something similar for the grand opening of the brewery, and then next year we hit the Puerto Rican Fest again, and we make it bigger this time.
Yeah.
Because we have a bigger parking lot, and we have a lot of room to set up vendors and food trucks, and trying to get some live music, and then trying to get the wrestlers back in.
Nice. Yeah. Man, I love that, man. I love that so much because that's what I come from, just arts, you know what I mean? Going to shows, comedy, music, and I was really into breweries at one point too. That phase kind of died off, but when I went to your guys' brewery, I was like, okay, this is it was bringing back that vibe, So man, I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then you helped out the comedians too, and those are all my friends too.
For me, the arts is an important thing. I went to art school. A lot of people don't know that, but I went to art school, and then I was doing a bachelor's in art education. And that's where all this comes from. It's I'm very visual, so that's why the venue looked like that. That's why I'm so into the art. It's And for me, if an artist comes in and he wants to put his art on the walls, I don't charge him.
Okay.
That's totally for free.
Yeah.
Like, my thing is to promote his art. People come and see the art, and they put the QR code in, and somebody buys a painting. Off you go. That's your money, not mine. For me, is decorating my walls and promoting the art.
Yeah.
Same thing with the musicians. Same things with the comedy shows. Same thing with any performance that we did. We got to the point that we did even there was a theater group, and they did Shakespeare.
Oh, nice. Like a theater. Okay. Like a live theater thing.
Yeah. They did little sets of Shakespeare. And they were in and out, changing their dress,
the wardrobe and everything,
changing everything, and doing Shakespeare.
That is pretty cool. It
was so cool. We got to do it only once.
Yeah.
Because it was in 2024, and after that, we shut down.
Man, so where you guys are gonna be at now, it couldn't have worked out any better, because that's like an artsy district area too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we want to be part.
I just moved to downtown.
You just moved to downtown?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So
I'm in the process right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're neighbors.
I'll be around. I'll be around, bro. Hell yeah.
So with that, one of the things that I really like about it is like the First Friday Art Trail for I was never able to be part of it.
Okay.
Because where I was.
The location.
Yeah. So this time I want to be part of that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Of course. Yeah,
so now that we're on the downtown area, my intentions is like to go and talk to Luca and see how we can get in, and then we have the owner of our building where we are at. He has a second floor that he wants to use that to put artists over there.
Okay.
And then on First Friday Art Trail, you do an art trail at Mano. So you go in, second floor, you check all the art that is up there, then come out on the back, and then go down straight to the art that is inside the brewery. Yeah.
So you guys are going to be like actually in the event, physically in the event, where people could just pass by and right?
So my intention is that.
Okay.
So I know that the city of Lubbock provides a trolley, and trolley goes back and forward different venues in downtown that you can move around and then be part of it. It's like, I really want to be part of it.
Man, that sounds, man.
Yep. And of course, we're gonna close the art trail with salsa.
Oh, so
after everybody's done with their art trail and looking at all the art and everything, every First Friday art trail, we are going to have our Latin nights.
Nice.
So
I like that.
After probably 9 o'clock, we're gonna move the tables, bring in a DJ, and we're gonna dance salsa, bachata, merengue, reggaeton, cumbia all night long.
My dad's side of my family, they love dancing salsa. They're from La Ciudad de Mexico, so I guess if that's kind of their culture too. Yep. But they.
Well, I was surprised with Mexicans, especially from the city, La Ciudad de Mexico, because I thought that they were not into salsa and all bachata and all of that. And when I moved here, remember when we were talking about that cultural shock?
Yeah.
That was one of it.
Okay.
It's like, I've seen Mexicans dance salsa better than a Puerto Rican. And I go like, what just happened here?
Oh, man, that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, man. Mexicans are into salsa. And that's the other thing here in Lubbock. There's a lot of people that they like all that dancing, all that cultural part of it. Because like one of the things, like people say Latinos and everybody thinks you're Mexican.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there is a very different culture between Caribbeans, Central Americans, South Americans, and then Mexicans.
Yeah.
So, but people think that since we're all Latinos, we're all the same.
That is not the case at all.
And that is not the case. It's like there is our big differences.
Big differences, yeah.
We do speak the same language. We can understand each other, but like there's a few things that they're not the same. And for me, whenever I moved here, I did miss my Caribbean roots.
Okay.
So and that was another reason that I opened this venue. It wasn't. I always say it wasn't only for making beer or making profit or revenue or sales. No, for me it was more to connect.
Yeah.
To connect with my culture and to connect with the people that had the same needs as me. So it's more of a, what do I do to gather my community?
Exactly. Yeah.
What's the excuse?
Yep.
Beer is the excuse.
Yeah. So that's like that's the glue that kind of brings everybody together.
So I always say, beer, sangria, it's only the excuse. The purpose of Mano is community. And bringing that community together, a place of gathering. So that over there you're gonna find your primo, or you're gonna find your friend from Puerto Rico, you see, or your friend from Colombia, from Venezuela, from Argentina, from Spain. Yeah. So I'm telling you, all these people, like we have people coming in from India, from Russia, from let me see, España, Spain, people from France, Italia. They're Italians. There was a point that we were doing Brazilian nights. Okay. There were so many Brazilians that I go like, okay, you know what? They asked me, can we play over there at the second floor? And I go like, sure. So you had a band, the Brazilian music? They had a band. Okay, nice. And they came in and they did their Brazilian night, and the place was packed. And we were not speaking Spanish or English on that day. Everybody was speaking Portuguese. Oh, that is so cool. Man, that's awesome. There were so many of them that it was like packed. And I was going like, okay, so... You're like, where did all these people come from? That was my thing. Like, and then we did it once, we did it twice, we did it like plenty of times. And then the other people that visit were asking like, when are you going to do that Brazilian night again? Man. And I was like, well, it just depends on them. It's like, I didn't actually plan for it. They just tell me that they're going to come in and do it. Yeah. So that's the mission of our spot. It's like Mano is not only a brewery. Mano is a collective of people coming in and getting together with the purpose of finding their culture that they're missing in this area when they move to the States. You see? Yeah. Because that's a big thing. It's like when you move here, you're dealing with not only with the weather, with the flatlands, with Lubbock is boring, and Mano is trying to make that different. So we're trying to make Lubbock interesting and not boring. But whenever you... Which it isn't. It's just that's what people get the impression of. People get the impression. Yeah. So whenever you put all that together, then you have Mano. Yeah. Like without the people coming in, without the beers and the sangrias and without the Latin culture, we wouldn't be what we are right now. Yeah. Man, that's cool. That is so fucking cool, dude. And same thing what we're trying to do with this podcast too, because we're still kind of new. But we've had a variety of different guests. We started off with our comedian friends. We had Selena on a couple weeks ago, but we've had musicians. You're the first person that's a brewmaster here who owns a brewery, which is cool because it's the first Latin-owned brewery in Lubbock. Man, I can tell you're proud of that too, bro. I'm very proud, man. Yeah. I'm proud. And then last week we had some musicians on also, and it was a little bit different because it wasn't a setup like this. There was a guitar player and a girl that had her like a little percussion instruments too. Okay. So it was me sitting around that side and Rafa on this side, and it was cool too because like we talked a little bit and they played a song. Talked a little bit and played a song. Man, I like that. Yeah, man. So that's same deal over here. What we're trying to do with the podcast is like kind of show people what's going on in Lubbock when it comes to all these different kind of art forms, you know. So man, I know. I've been there, and again, it's like there is so much that we need to do, as and I say it like this because that's what I see as Latinos. Yeah. We need to back each other up. We need to be there for our community. Yep. Our community needs us. And not everybody has the opportunity to open a business. Not everybody has the opportunity to have a podcast show. You see, but like I feel like if we have those opportunities, we need to make sure that we're putting it into good use.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
So for me, again, Mano is not only me making a life, a living. For me, is helping other people like me that came here with an idea, with a dream, with a with a challenge that they want to do something with their lives, and show them like, hey, I'm just a guy selling sodas at the farmers market.
Yep.
If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. So let's just help each other out and make it happen. You know, it's like
humility and humbleness stands out a lot when you're.
I'm 100% with that, and so for me, like, Mano is, again, it's a collective, is something else. It's not only a business.
All right, nice. And then, so if people want to, like, say if we have people watching that, are just meeting you for the first time, where could they find Mano Negra?
So right now, the venue is still under construction.
I mean, what about like on social media and stuff like that?
So we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, and we have our webpage. Okay. So just go on Facebook and look for Mano Negra Brewing Co. Mm-hmm. If not, then Instagram, and it's going to be the same thing, Mano Negra Brewing Co. And for our website, the same thing, www.manonegrabrewingco.com. Okay. And you can find us there. And then if not, just Google it, and it will take you there. So you can Google it, Mano Negra, and on Google it's showing the address where we're at right now. But if you still want to try the products, you can go to Wolfforth Farmers Market. Okay. We still do the market. And after when all this year.
Is that every Saturday? Okay.
Every Saturday we're there serving beer, serving sangrias, and then from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All right.
And then if anybody wants to try something, we're there, and you can enjoy the other vendors that are out there too. And then, start with a breakfast and then ended up with a beer or a sangria.
Yeah, sangria after breakfast, or even with the breakfast, sounds good.
You will be surprised how many people start drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, because they do.
Yeah, and why not? It's a Saturday, man.
It's a Saturday, yeah.
But anything else you want to put out there, man?
I just want to say thank you to all the people that been with us in this process of closing a brewery and opening again. Uh-huh. I'm very grateful for all my supporters. Like, it wouldn't be what it is right now without them. And then I have found a lot of good people on the way that they want this project to stay alive. Uh-huh. And
I could only imagine.
And that's the reason that we're doing it, because all of them, like, this is for you guys. Mano Negra is for you. It's not for me. It's for you. So thank you, everybody.
Yep. Man, and I'm grateful for you coming on the show today, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be it, man. All right. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Peace out, yeah. Yep. Cool. That was great, man. That was cool.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, taco.